Ladies, you have been duped. You've been duped since you were a little girl, and you're continuing to be duped every single day of your life. What do I mean? You're duped into valuing things that have no value. You're duped into having opinions that really shouldn't be yours, that you don't appraise, that you don't think about, that you don't really internalize and see if they actually have value in your life. You have been duped into using your money and putting into things that have no value in their own, don't improve your life, actually stress you out, give you a low opinion of yourself, and last but not least, deplete your financial resources so that you're always stuck in the place where you're at, so you're always unhappy and unfulfilled, and the only way you think that you can make yourself feel better is by buying more stuff. Hi, my name is Inara Michelle. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a billionaire. I have a very, very comfortable existence. I've done a lot of great things. I've traveled the entire world, and I've done all of these things without ever having excessive amounts of money because I've made really good choices about where I allocate my funds. And I started doing this even since when I was a little girl, when I was working under the table jobs, answering phones at a Chinese restaurant for 25 bucks a day and free Chinese food. And I've done it in my corporate job. As I continue to climb up the corporate ladder and making more money, I always did what Robert Kiyosaki says in Rich Dad Poor Dad, paid myself first. And there's a reason I do this. And I'm actually not here to give anybody financial advice. There's actually, first of all, you have to be careful with that. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a stockbroker. What I want to do and what I feel like nobody is doing at all. There's people out there giving relationship advice. There's people out there giving really great financial advice, probably beyond what I can give. What I want to do for women specifically, but this content applies to anyone, is I want to teach people to change their mindset about what they value and about where they put their hard-earned money towards that is truly not making them happy. It's not giving them the fulfillment that they think it's giving them, and it's actually keeping them trapped in that same situation that they're so unhappy with. So if you think this is of value to you, you can subscribe to my channel. I'm brand new at this, so I'm going to start putting on content on different topics. And like I said, I'm not going to make you guys billionaires or even millionaires at all. My goal here is to make you free of opinions that are imposed to you by your family, the media, magazines, TV shows, your friends, the idea that you have to keep up with people and show a certain level of financial success that you don't have, really. That's not reflective of what your actual income is. And I want to help you make better decisions so that you have the money to have fantastic experiences in your life. Because it's really not about how much you make. It really isn't. Everybody tells you how to make more money. It's not about how much you make. It's not about how much you make at all. It's about how much you spend and, more importantly, how much you save or invest. Because when you invest, money is making money for you 100 times a day, or what I might say, money's making for you 24 hours a day. I don't know why I said 100. I'm actually not going to edit my videos. I'm going to try to keep it like as real as I can. So money's making money for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's the perfect slave. You don't have to work. And the more money can make money for you, the more time you have to spend time on yourself. And eventually, I mean, if this is a goal for you, you could even get to the point where you don't actually have to exchange your time for money. But that has to do with how smartly you use your money and what decisions you make. And what I mean is this. So I have friends that live in San Francisco, and they make about $1 million a year. And they're not CEOs or anything. I mean, your typical market exec will make something about $1 million a year. Then you look at what it costs to live in San Francisco, and it's really expensive. I remember watching a House Hunters International, or I'm sorry, House Hunters, regular House Hunters, and this cute couple was trying to find this place in San Francisco, and their budget was $750,000 to $1 million. Now, I lived in Vegas for many years at the time, And for 750,000 to $1 million, you buy a penthouse high rise in one of the nice buildings on the strip, or if you're more like a house oriented, you can buy a really, really big house, 6 bedrooms, 5,500 square foot or more, depending on what neighborhood you want to live in. So to me, I had these expectations. Now, I know San Francisco is expensive, so I knew we weren't even going to be anywhere near even 2,000 square feet. But oh my God, the lady was showing them these apartments that were, I'm not kidding, 500 to 750 square feet. And they were going to be $1 million. What I'm getting to is, they made $1 million a year, but it cost them $1 million to live there. So what's the net? The net is zero. So it's not how much money you make, right? I know people that make, $70,000 a year. For some people that is a lot of money. For a lot of people, that's not a lot of money. It's all about perspective and how you view the world. So I've known several people that make about that much money, and say 70,000 to make an even number. And I know people that make $70,000 and live off of 45, and they save the rest. And they have savings and they have investments. And those are the people that can get ahead in life. Because if you make $70,000 and you spend all of it, you're net zero. So you have zero for vacations, you have zero for emergencies. These are the people that, no matter how much money they make, whether it's $1 million or $70,000, these are the people that when the economy crashes, or COVID, and a pandemic shut everything down, these are the people that, oh my God, I can't pay for my $1 million house. I can't pay the rent. Some of these people barely were thinking about, soon we're not going to have food. The second there's a setback, they get fired. They have this sense of invincibility. Oh, I make $1 million and I've been with this company. Anything can happen. Anybody can get fired. Everybody's replaceable. People make mistakes. There's a million reasons why you need to have, at the very least, 6 months of full living expenses. And that means all your food, all your bills, your car, your mortgage or rent, whatever it is your setup is, for at least 6 months. With this economy and post-pandemic, jobs being harder to replace, I would say even a year to a year and a half of what you would spend, because you have to be able to protect yourself and your family, and you have to be able to be sure that you're not going to lose all the things that you work so hard for just because of an act of God or something that happened in society or something. So that's incredibly important. That's like at the very least. And then you have to have money to build wealth, so that you don't have to work until the very, very, very end of your life, so you don't have to be some 75-year-old lady. And listen, when I say things about people, I'm not criticizing anybody. Everybody has had different life circumstances. I'm just saying that if somebody could choose being 75 years old and being a greeter at Walmart, or being 75 years old and living in some nice golf course and just sipping margaritas, I'm thinking most human beings that are okay in the head would choose the margaritas on the golf course if they can wave a magic wand and choose, right? So I never mean to put any people down. I'm not trying to say anybody's better than others. I'm just saying there are better choices that bring more fulfillment in life and can just help you have the life that you want. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. So it doesn't really matter how much you make. You should always be trying to make more money. It's how much you spend, how much you save, and how much you invest. And investing and saving should be the most important things that you do, because little tiny, and it's not even about sacrificing, little tiny changes in your life can really make a humongous difference in your lifestyle. And it's things that I swear to God you would not miss. I'll tell you a story. I used to sell cars, and I used to see a lot of kinds of people that made different decisions with their life. I remember this one specific family once came to our dealership. They had been turned down by numerous dealerships, and the one dealership that actually sold them this Lemon that had an alarm system that was obsolete, that they couldn't remove. They didn't have a key for it. The car basically seized, locked, and stopped moving, and they left it in the middle of the street, and they came to our dealership. We had this special financing program for what's called subprime customers. That's people that don't have the best credit. People smartened up years ago and said, you know what, this is an underserved sector of society. Let's go ahead and get credit to these people. They haven't made the best choices, but let's let them allow to prove themselves to be on the mend, to be able to make better choices, to prioritize, say, a car payment over, cable or things like that. So I was able to get her in one of our financing programs, and all I needed from her was I think like $750 or $1,000 down payment to make it work. That's it. I mean, it was a nice car. It wasn't a new car, but it was a newer car. It was under warranty. It was a minivan. It was perfect for her family. She had a couple of kids and a couple of smaller kids. And they had actually taken the bus to the dealership. Her first reaction was, no, I don't have it. I don't have it at all. So we, kind of started talking to them and having a conversation. And I took out a piece of paper and I said, hey, all right, I bet you I can find some money that you do have, and we'll work with what we have. And I just kind of went down this list, and I just started very friendly. I wasn't judging her, just trying to go down the list to make her aware about the expenses that she had. So first thing we found out is that she had, so this was around November, she had several things on layaway for the kids, including like a computer. I think this was when Kmart was still open. They were doing layaway. So like had a computer and a couple of things for the kids, like toys for Christmas. That amounted to maybe about like $300 or $400. Let's say 400 for some even numbers there. So I asked her, okay, but let me ask you this. Would you not think that your kids would be happier to have a vehicle you can take them to school and whatever activities and to go out to dinner and have fun rather than sit on a bus with their brand new computer? And she just kind of had this like, oh, well, I don't know. I don't want to disappoint the kids. So we kind of like left that aside. And then I started asking her, okay, do you buy coffee every day? Yes, she did. She bought Starbucks twice a day. I'm like, that was like $7-8 a pop, So just there we found about $20. And do you buy magazines? Yes. Do you buy, gum? Yes. Do you have cable? Yes. With all the channels, with a couple of premium channels. I mean, there was like at least $180 in cable. So we kind of went down the list of things that she wasn't really quite aware that she spent money on, that some of them like things she didn't even use. I won't say that I remember every single thing, but I remember writing at least 10, 15 things. And we actually found, including the layaway, about $1,500 that she could use for her down payment. And the dealership that I was with was actually willing to take like a partial payment and hold the car for her, and then 2 weeks later take a partial payment. So we were literally bending over backwards for her, and I was trying to help her, realize that she could make a better decision in terms of what's going to help her improve her life. So, if you have a car, you can drive to your job. You can, you don't have to undersleep because you have to wake up 2 hours or 3. I mean, some of these buses take hours to get to their destination. So, I mean, you're taking your kids to school on a bus, or, maybe they're taking a school bus and you're waking up extra early to have to commute on a bus to get to work. Why would you not? Why wouldn't it be a better Christmas gift for your whole family, for yourself, for your children, to be able to have a nice, reliable car so that you can improve your life? So again, and we just had this conversation, and I just kept talking to her, and she actually left without committing to it. She was maybe like a little shaken up. The next morning she called me and she said, I thought about it. You're so right. I canceled I don't think she canceled the cable. I think she canceled like the premium channels, and she did some arrangements and stuff, and she actually found most of the down payment. So we were actually able to let her drive off with the car, and then she just owed us like $250 or something like that. But my point is so many people are spending money on things that they don't need, that are momentary wants, bring you 30 seconds of fulfillment. And they're robbing themselves from being able to have the things that are going to actually give them a good life, give them a really great sense of well-being, and help them get to the next level, whatever the next level is. My grandfather used to say, spend extravagantly on the things that bring you joy and save on everything else. So I'm not a minimalist, and I don't advocate like absolute frugality or living in like this monastic sense of like you can't buy anything. Of course, it's fun to buy things when they're for the right reason. And I'm a experience over stuff person, and only because I've traveled to so many amazing places, and the memories that leave me with smiles, and I still remember the smells of things and the taste of foods, exotic foods. It's always been experiences. It's always been meeting new people or going on trips with friends. It's never stuff. There's nothing in my possession now or that I have ever owned, and cars included, and I've had some nice cars in my life, that ever make me go, oh, I remember that car. I was so happy with that car. I remember that skirt or that purse or those shoes. None of that. Anything that you buy today that's trendy today, awesome today, enviable today, that the magazines or TV tells you must have today, is going to be a piece of crap in your closet that you don't even wear, that's frayed, that's faded, that's damaged, that's going to end up in a box for Goodwill. So think about that. You're spending, if you're one of those people that spends $1,000 on a pair of shoes, those are gonna wear away and they have no value for you. A lot of those shoes are actually incredibly uncomfortable. I've gotten Louboutins and and Manolos for gifts, and I've always asked for a gift receipt. That's all I'm gonna say, because I'm still friends with some of the people that have given me these gifts, so I don't want them to feel bad that I may have either sold or returned their gifts, because that has no value for me. It has no value for me for somebody to look at the bottom of my shoes, which, by the way, get really scratched up really fast, and say, ooh, she wears Louboutins. That has no value to me whatsoever. I rather buy a pair of shoes that looks good on me, that flatters my legs, that flatters my body, that are, heels are not comfortable, but let's say a little bit more comfortable for being heels. That has more value to me. I'd rather have somebody look at me and say, like, wow, she looks great. And then maybe inside I'm going, wow, I know I spend like $50 tops on my outfit. That to me is way more rewarding. And that's something I kind of want to talk about. I kind of want to change people's mindset on the perception of value on designer goods. And I'm not really going to kind of get into it. And I'm going to make a lot of people mad, because I'm going to say probably some derogatory things about this designer scam. I consider it a scam. And for more people than not, it's a scam for women, because we really are kind of brainwashed into attributing value to these things that are not valuable. They're not. They're a trap. They rob us of our money. They rob us of our ability to improve our lives, to have meaningful experiences that same amount of money could have provided. And it kind of traps us into this kind of culture of like having things that we shouldn't be able to afford for our economic level that we are right now. Most women that own a $2,000 Louis Vuitton purse make $30,000 a year. That's like a little less than 10% of their entire income they're putting on a purse. That makes no sense to me. If you're a millionaire, if you're a Kim Kardashian, and you blow your nose and you make $100,000, then who cares, right? That's on you. I always think, there's probably better things that people like that could be doing with their money, right? But that's neither here nor there. But if you're making less than $250,000 and you're buying a $2,000 purse, periodically, it's really not the best choice. You really could be doing a little bit better, in your life, in general. So that's, I want to break that myth of, a little technical difficulty here with my lighting. I want to kind of break that myth of that there's value to these things, because there really isn't. And all you're doing is you're taking away opportunities from yourself. So that's really kind of my intro. It's kind of my welcome to the world. I'm actually working on my content. I have massive amounts of content. It's all going to be free for now. I just kind of really altruistically want to educate people. I did have an idea for a course, and I know if you're watching my content, you probably aren't in the best position economically. And I know sometimes I go out there, and when I was kind of doing the self-help stuff or looking for different things, or even doing a little sort of market research, some of these people, the amount of money they charge is crazy. Now, I am very pro even spiritualist charging money, because I believe money is great. Money is a tool by which you can experience the things that you want in life. So if you ever have had the mentality of money is evil, money is dirty, that's not true. Money doesn't make people bad. Money reveals people. If somebody is nice until they win $1 million and then they become an absolute jerk, that's who they always were. They just never had the money enough to feel like they could be themselves around people. So money is a fantastic thing. You can save children with money. You can feed people with money. You can save animals with money. Money is a beautiful divine gift from God or the universe or whatever you believe, because it gives you the choice for you to do whatever you want to do with it. It's just, that's the beauty of it. So adopt the mentality that money is great, that you can do great things with the money you have now, I swear to God, you can. You can do great things with the money that you have now. You just have to make a little bit better choices. And you should have the idea to like improve your life situation, improve your skills. Maybe use that money to like take courses to improve your skill set so that you can have a bigger, better job. And if you're used to living at $50,000 in your current job and you get a $70,000 job, what if you don't up your living to 70,000? What if you keep it at 50,000? Maybe give yourself a little reward, like $5,000 for a vacation or something that you really, really wanted that's really going to bring you joy. And then you keep it at that. And then when you move from the $70,000 job to the $90,000 job, what if you just like go from the 55 to 60, maybe 65,000? You're still saving $35,000 a year. And if you're investing those $35,000 a year, your money is going to grow. In my future modules, my boyfriend is actually a financial genius, so I'm going to work with him on making some sort of widget or some sort of like kind of Excel form or something, because I want to demonstrate exactly the power of compound interest. And without giving anybody any advice on any kind of investing or anything, I'm going to show you how much a certain amount of money invested at a certain percentage interest, whether it's even just like an index fund or just even some, a CD account from your bank, what that money does. And if you keep throwing more money at it every month instead of spending that money, so put money in that account first, and then if you have a little left over, maybe you buy yourself something cool, or you book a little spa trip or something. I can show you how you can take what seems to be like a small amount of money and make it into hundreds of thousands of dollars in maybe like a decade. And the time's gonna pass. People look at that and are like, ugh, 10 years? Oh my God, that's like 10 years. And I'm going to spend all that money. I'm like, the 10 years are going to pass, and you're going to get to those 10 years and you're going to have nothing. And you're going to a bunch of stuff in your closet or in the garage that has no value that you can't sell on Craigslist for $5. And maybe you're going to have missed out on amazing experiences, or getting yourself to the next skill level to get the next best paying job, or having the ability to take a year off because you're stressed out and burned out, or want to spend time with your family or kids. So those 10 years will pass and you'll have nothing. Or you can make these little, not even sacrifice, these little tweaks, these little changes on how you spend, and more importantly, your mindset about what's behind why you spend the way you spend. Because that's the key. I can tell you don't buy this, don't buy that, but if you still have that like, oh my God, I have to have this, and I have to have these channels, and I have to have all this, and I have to have this person, I have to spend $200 on makeup every month to completely change my face. If you don't change that motivation behind it, it's going to seem like it's going to be worse than like trying to diet or do a crazy exercise routine. It's going to be a chore. It's not going to be motivating. Or maybe you will be able to sustain it for a bit, but you won't be able to sustain it in the long run because you'll feel deprived. And my aim is to make sure that you don't feel deprived, that you're actually excited at the possibilities that you yourself can create for yourself with what you already have. Because when you have money, like I said, not only can you do anything that you want, it gives you so much more freedom, things that you might not even think about. Some women are in bad relationships because they don't have money, and they can't perceive the ability to get themselves out of, say, a bad marriage or maybe like a bad relationship, or not knowing that you can actually have better choices in who you choose to spend your time with because you don't have that ability, or you can bring yourself up to like a different level of meeting like different kinds of people, where people are maybe a little bit more enlightened in terms of how they treat each other and what they do with their time, and just have a little bit better perspective on life. So that's it. I really didn't intend this to be as long, but like I said, this is my intro. I hope you've enjoyed the content. I'm going to start trying to post content at least once a week. Like I said, I'm new to YouTube. I'm just really doing this altruistically. There will be some courses at some point, and then I'll just provide all that information in subsequent videos. I hope you are having a wonderful day. I hope you found this helpful and exciting, and I will see you soon. Thanks.